Good afternoon. I am Maureen Spollen. I am the Consulting Director at HSO US. I wanted to talk today to Mary Earls, who's, I think, the Senior Director of Finance and Accounting, who works at CAPTRUST. And it's one of our clients where we went ahead and implemented both D365, which is for finance and operations, the accounting package, if you will. And that was after a successful implementation of the customer engagement module, which they use for their billing. I'll introduce Mary in a couple of minutes, but I just want to tell you, so we had been working with CAPTRUST for a while, and we had done their billing and their account management. CAPTRUST is actually, I'll let Mary explain what they do a little bit more, but they had billing needs and they also had an accounting needs. And so when I met their CTO, he came to one of our conferences that we were having for HSO, and he came to a session I was doing and sat down, and I started showing him the budget planning thing. He's like, I know somebody that's really going to want to take a look at this. In short order, we went down and met Mary and her team in Raleigh, North Carolina, and talked about automating the budgeting process, which had been a very long 3-month thing because they engaged the entire organization, and they were just in a crazy growth by acquisition model. So things that were kind of working today were sort of getting out of control, or it seemed like for tomorrow. Anyway, we came down and to Raleigh, sat down about the budgeting solution, and when we realized that their accounting package was offsite at their accounting firms in a third party, and they were doing a lot of stuff in Excel, we said, all right, let's just talk about putting the basics in before we get into budgeting. So not really music to the ears of the people in the room, but we thought it was the right thing to do. And then we started talking about an accounting package. And let me introduce Mary. Mary, you just want to tell a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then we'll kind of drill in a little bit about your implementation and how it benefited you.
Sure. My name's Mary Earls. I'm the Senior Director of Finance at CAPTRUST, and we are a financial advisory firm. Our headquarters are in Raleigh, but we have offices now in 67 locations throughout the country, and now have over 1,000 employees, so growing rapidly, and we've grown substantially since we implemented the F&O solution. So a lot of different changes in our industry, a lot of different changes in our business. I oversee the finance and accounting department, as Maureen mentioned, and that includes billings and receivables, accounts payable, financial reporting, budgeting, pro forma reporting, covenant compliance reporting to the bank, integration of acquisitions. And we're a very acquisitive company, so we're bringing on new firms and their clients on a regular basis. So that all falls into my department and the things that my team works on.
Thanks, Mary. So when we first sat down and we said, okay, before we can do the budgeting, we have to put it in an accounting package. We gave you guys a proposal, and I think that there was definitely a sense among the management team that this was a very low-cost thing to put in, just sort of install it, set it up, in a week or so, low cost, and we'd be good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to sort of educate people, and we had to sort of right-size the project. We knew that the billing integration was going to be important because we had that. And you also had a number of different systems. You were using GP and I think Mass 500, if I remember correctly, and a ton of Excel spreadsheets. So the systems were all PC-based and a little bit on the older side. So we redesigned the chart of accounts, put in basic e-banking, put some integrations with your Concur application, and I think we really focused on financial reporting to go ahead and make sure we could automate just the inquiries and getting the information you needed when you were able to get it. So are you still in a growth by acquisition model?
Because Very much so. Very much
wow.
so. Yeah. So growing quickly, both organically and through acquisitions, yes.
So has the new system allowed you to keep up with that growth?
Yes, it has. I mean, it's allowed us to respond quickly. We have now fully integrated billings with our system that is I don't even know what platform that's on, but it's a Microsoft product, and so all of our billings are fully integrated with that system. So as we bring on new acquisitions and all of their client base, it's fairly seamless once we upload all the asset values and the billing and fee structures.
And what about from the finance side? You're just adding a couple of dimension values?
Yeah, from the finance side, we're adding a couple of dimension values. That's exactly right. We're just adding a dimension value for the new location, and for any of the key advisors that we're tracking revenue for, we're adding a dimension value for that as well.
Wow. And so, has it helped you with any other projects that you've taken on?
It's been very helpful. So as you know, Maureen, we had a third-party accounting firm that was running all of our financials out of Mass.
Mm-hmm.
when we met. And so it was on their system, on their server. We'd be working late at night trying to crunch through numbers, and I'd have to wait until the morning to get the reports that I needed. They would come over in a PDF format. So it was a little
Which led to more questions.
It was a little cumbersome, to say the least. So yes, so now we're able to easily access our data. We're able to drill into everything. You can build out your financials so that you can drill down into all the way down to the transaction level, which is really helpful for us. Since our implementation in late 2019, we took on an outside investor. So that transaction took place in May of 2020. And of course, we went through an extremely in-depth due diligence project at that time to satisfy the outside investors' needs. And we were able to provide all of the data that we needed to the consultants to assist with that work.
Well, that's awesome. Did you have extended audit requirements on top of that?
We did. Of course, we brought on an outside investor. So we moved from a kind of a good-sized, mid-sized regional firm to one of the big four firms to do our audit. So of course, that was a much more intense audit process than we had in the past. And our first audit with them was at the end of 2020. It went amazingly well. They were very happy with everything that we were able to provide. So that was great.
Wow. And you know how to get the data yourself.
Yep, we do.
And so does your team.
And so does my team. And we've, developed some in-house experts to be able to craft our reports, and the management report writer. That was one of the bigger hurdles. I know I worked a lot with Maureen on developing our first financial reports. One of the bigger hurdles, but now that we've got it and our team understands it, HSO helped us to develop some other custom reports. So we have custom reports developed now for our covenant compliance reporting to the bank and for our special reporting that we do for our outside investors. So that's been very helpful.
So do you think you're set up for the budgeting project?
I think, we would have done the budgeting project already. We just have had an incredible amount of growth since we implemented the system, and just haven't been able to get it to the head of the priority list yet.
And during the pandemic, everything was smooth.
Oh, everything was smooth. Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the cloud-based solution.
And that was a big piece of this too, is to have this cloud-based solution, because we have finance and accounting folks working in different states. So my controller is in San Antonio, Texas. I actually sit in the Michigan office. Most of my team is in Raleigh. So to have a cloud-based system was the top of the list of our priorities.
And sometimes you get your accounting team from acquisitions, right?
We do. Yes.
Yeah. So wherever they're located, you can keep them there.
That's why my controller's in San Antonio.
That's awesome. So are you looking to build onto the system?
Yes, we are. We are. So some of our future plans will be to bring in the fixed asset solution and definitely the budget solution as well. This year we've spent a lot of time on custom reporting and on adding the consolidating entity to our reporting. So we didn't do that up front, really, because in the interest of time, when we were nearing year end at that time. So we kind of addressed the consolidations through the report writer. So we're bringing on that consolidating entity now, and then we'll be moving to hopefully fixed assets and budgets next year.
But even before the external investor and the added auditing thing, we worked that Christmas vacation, I think, because we were the only two working on getting all your reports. And your reports were extensive even before then. They
were extensive. We have a very large list of reports that we run on a monthly and quarterly basis. And boy, I don't know what I would have done without Maureen, quite honestly. I can't believe she answered my calls on all of those days that she was supposed to be enjoying the holiday.
And you too. We had to get the job done. That was sort of the mandate. And I think that you got your reporting automated as a result of that. So it sounds like you've got some benefits you can get in the future, but right now, just being able to get the information that you need when you need is probably, and just being able to go through those compliance things without, twisting yourself all around, and having the data structured, just that clean chart of accounts with all the stuff you need for reporting.
And I think too, removing all the disparate systems. So, our accounts payable was sitting in Concur and was a standalone system. And now that all is fully integrated with our financial operations system. So as we push through an invoice and it gets approved, it automatically integrates to our current accounts payable subledger. So that's been really helpful. And we've done the same thing on the billing side. So just those two integrations have really been helpful to us to not have all the disparate systems.
Yeah, one system. And I think also your IT team wanted to get everything in the cloud because they didn't want to maintain the stuff anymore.
Yep.
And it was all getting kind of old. So, comes the point where there's time. And I think it was the time, but it was a good thing it happened before you got so busy, or else it wouldn't have even been an option or not a great option. So I
Mhm.
think timing something is everything, even a year before, but you're there now. So, and I think that, you can layer on, you've got scalability, we've got a foundation we can build on, and you're all in with the Microsoft stack. So your team knows Azure and
Yep.
the reporting tools, and, they keep adding, and then the updates don't matter anymore because we've got that all under control. So hopefully the future, we get out of this little blip on the screen and get into brighter moments and, meet in person and get a couple of things off the to-do list.